been a while. It's been a while. Okay, so while we're doing this, I'm gonna tell a story. So I was coming home from my job today, and I was walking inside, and I live in an apartment complex. It's not like the world's nicest, but it's also not anything to be concerned about. Don't lay awake at night being concerned for my safety or anything. And I was walking up the steps to get to the front door, and here we are, first of all. But I was walking up the steps, and I look to the left, and there sits a car seat for a small child. And I was kind of taken aback, not by a lot. I just glanced at it and said, "Oh, someone left their car seat here." As I look down at this car seat, some guy around the corner yells and says, "Hey, that's my car seat. Don't touch it." Do I look like the kind of guy who would just steal somebody's car seat? Is that the image that I put off? I wasn't sure what to say, so I just kept walking and went inside. But it really started to get to me that someone was really concerned that I might steal their car seat. Or maybe, like, sabotage it so that their child just, like, gets catapulted. I was concerned. But anyway, I found the training dummies, so hooray. Special shout out, thanks. I look like a car seat thief, yeah. I collect them, and they're all in my basement. Keep them in my car seat dungeon. Make all the... Never mind. Alright, so, this one is a special request from Boomkin to do some testing with. If you are watching this, you probably know who I am. If you don't, I am Jelly Roll. I am raid leader of Flavor of the Month on now Storm Reaver. We just moved. Yay. So in Legion we'll be raiding on Storm Reaver. It's gonna be a good time, Horde side. Come have fun with us. But anyway, I am gonna be doing some testing on Affliction Warlock today. And first thing I wanted to do is go through and check out all the things that Affliction Warlock still do have, because everyone did get a lot of pruning going into Legion, some more than others, I guess. Affliction Warlock lost a few things. They've moved a lot of people's baseline abilities to talents, which is unfortunate in some ways, but in other ways I understand having... One of the ways to battle class homogenization is to take away abilities, so make you have to pick between interesting things, which is unfortunate, but I digress. So, starting off with, it's actually interesting before I look into this, but before I go into this, is I was talking to some other people about some of the things that Blizzard has said, and one of the things is that, like Shadow Priests, for example, have like the most utility in their spec, or in their kit. And it kind of makes me laugh looking through the spellbook baseline. I mean, given, there's things you can pick up, but Warlocks have so much utility. Like, look at this. I have Kilrog, Health Funnel. I mean, Health Funnel might not be what you consider ideal utility. Enslaved Demon, Soulstone, Unending Breath, sorry, Hellstone, Summoning, Ritual Summoning. Like, they have a lot. They also have Demonic Gateway, which is this the talent? Yeah, I'm sorry. Demonic Gateway is a talent, which I have on here twice. No, it's not. Demonic Gateway is not a talent. I lied. It's Demonic Circle. My bad. Banish and Command Demon. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. Oh, and they also have Fear and probably something else that I'm missing. Anyway. So, yeah, they have all these things still. Banish's effect is still the same. Command Demon, you're going to be, commanding a demon to do things. And it's based on your active pet. Create Hellstone, so you create Hellstone, so it lets you get everyone a Hellstone. Slave Demon does the thing that I forgot Command Demon is not. Command Demon, Enslaved Demon, whatever, same thing. No, but you definitely need that. Fear is still your fear. Cancels the effect based on damage. I have Kilrog, good old Kilrog still. It's good old, it's a guy. It does things. Did you guys used to use this in Raid? I did. Good times. Anyway. Unending breath. Let you swim underwater and do dumb shit. Unending resolve is yours. It is 40% still. Yep, 40% damage reduction, and immunity is silenced. Does it not? It's also pushback too, right? To interrupt and silence. Oh, okay. Well, just kidding. Passives though. Soul Leech. Starting with Soul Leech, this was a talent I know earlier in a different earlier build in beta or alpha. But all single target damage done by you and your minion grants you and your pet shadowy shields that absorb 10% of the max damage dealt, up to 20% of your maximum health. And I know that can be affected by a talent, which most raiders are going to be taking because the options are kind of limited. But there's that. Signature of Necrolite. Your drain life is massively empowered, dealing 200% increased damage, but not healing. So you're going to be seeing that is basically the Affliction Warlock filler. They've done some number adjustments, so I don't think you're going to see Demonology and Destruction running it, but maybe still for that. Then you have your Mastery, of course, which increases the damage done by your Agony, Corruption, and Unstable Affliction by 39%, based on Mastery, obviously. Running crappy PvP gear. I also don't have my artifact on right now to show things. So your basic baseline spells as Affliction, pretty cheese mode. Yeah, no. But everyone's going to be at the class halls doing stuff. I wanted to go somewhere no one was. Hopefully my sound's okay, by the way. If my sound's not okay, let me know. So baseline Affliction, pretty barren here, but we got Corruption. Woo! It does shadow damage over 14 seconds. Probably should just use a little baby training dummy. So come on. Oh wow, it's doing the. I guess level 70. Yeah, that makes sense. Try this again to actually get a real damage number. Yep, good times. Affected by haste. Agony, no longer Curse of Agony, obviously. This is going to stack basically up to 10 times. And get increasingly. Here, I'll show you. Just the damage will increase in each one. Look at that coding. So good. Changes each time. That's 10, right? So each time it ticks, it's gonna do more and more damage. Yeah, 10. And also, this is Affliction's basically only way to get soul shards. You have a chance to get that. I don't know what the actual chance is, so we should find that out. Yay for that. And then your soul shard dump is actually Unstable Affliction now. Boom. Unstable Affliction is an interesting change. It lasts 8 seconds, multiple casts accumulate increased damage, so it doesn't like restack, but it works just like Ignite does. So as you're putting them up, and you keep putting them up, they're gonna start falling off in the back end. So I mean, it's basically your nuke, but over the course of 8 seconds. Also, it has the PvP effect of, you know, it's dispelled. The dispeller gets silenced and damaged. Also, it refunds the soul shard if the target dies before it runs off. So, pretty obvious, you know, you're going to be dotting things up. If you dot a bunch of targets up with Agony, you're going to be getting, wow, real spread on these guys. You're going to be getting a higher chance of soul shards. You spend those soul shards casting Unstable Affliction. Then your Unstable Affliction is going to be ticking for a lot more. And then you'll start to see it fall off. Although I probably should have spaced them out just a bit more. So actually, it probably didn't get an extra tick in, so it's not going to fall off because I didn't wait long enough to show that. let's give it a shot now. I'm trying to make this bigger. But you can only make it bigger through the chat. Okay. So as you can see, it falls off and does less damage. Which is cool, I guess. That's your your basic nuke. There are a lot of ways to affect that and to change the priority, kind of how that works. Also, your AoE, Seed of Corruption. Woo. I don't know if they're not going to be away 10 yards. I guess we can. Woo. So Seed of Corruption embeds a demon seed in the enemy target that will explode for after 16.8 seconds, dealing shadow damage to all enemies within 10 yards and applying corruption to them. Seed will detonate early if the target is hit by any other detonations or takes a certain threshold from your spells. So that's your decent AoE. Also, Affliction, of course, can be multi-dotting, so yay. Yeah, I heard. So, Paul, you want to just talk in Twitch chat so it's not weird that I'm responding to nothing? Thanks, dog. It's gonna be weird for people to watch. Yeah, I saw that. Details did have that up actually, but I was kind of just running the baseline combat log for the sake of clarity, I guess. Simplicity. Because really, I just want to see like the numbers and certain things can be mapped out, I suppose. I wish that we had like a level 100 dummy though. Do we not? Do we? And I'm just dumb. No. Okay. It only goes up to 80, which makes sense. Why would they update Silver Moon's training dummies? Okay, that's fine. And then of course you have your Reap Souls, which will be your artifact weapon. Unending Resolve still has a pretty effect. Kind of get like the cool thing and the rappies, and that's nifty. And then Drain Life, I want to say it's a new animation for it. Maybe it was Drain Soul that got updated. But some of the things that I noticed that got updated throughout the alpha, the last time I checked on Affliction, which was like a long time ago, was, well, I guess those are mostly talent changes, which we'll get to. We'll get to talent changes. Don't worry. Also, I guess you have your Doom Guard and your Infernal too. Ooh. Get 'em. Yeah. Strong area effect damage. Pretty cool. Doom Guard just shoots shadow bolts, I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah. Pet. Where's the pet bar? Isn't there a pet thing? There's supposed to be a pet thing. Okay, well, yeah, that was fun. I know I'm in combat. I know. Just passive. Just come. We done now? Okay, thanks. Oh, I was gonna say, if I can keep that, that'd be pretty dope. Okay, so cool. Oh, those call soul shards. So I guess you can use those as cooldowns too, although they're probably more demonology based. I could be wrong about that. We'll see what else there is to maybe synergize with that. So going into artifact, because I feel like baseline Affliction is super boring. Like you get all this utility stuff, and then you get like 3 dots in AoE and drain life. Woo. I guess I could summon out a pet. Do you run Fellhunter's Affliction? Is that what you run as Affliction? That's gotta be what you run as Affliction, right? Or you run Imp? Is it just Imp? What is this, Paul? What do you run? Tell me these things. Alright, so There it is. Ulthalesh, the Dreadwind Harvester. Deadwind, you know, like the pass. The Scythe Master will either overcome. Satial? Satial? Is that a word I should know? Or be consumed. Which will only make the blade more powerful, and then another bearer will take their place. And another. I get it. I gotcha. Okay, so artifact. Woo. Again, Reap Souls is the main ability you get from it, the equip bonus. You consume all tormented souls collected by Ulthalesh, increasing your damage by 10% and doubling the effects of all of Ulthalesh's other traits for 5 seconds per soul consumed. It collects tormented souls from each target you kill and occasionally escaped souls it previously collected. Right. So that happens. I know before, way back in the original build, they had like actual targetable things that you would kill. That would come out, but I'm taking it as you probably just gain this buff now. Maybe just over time. Oh, I see what happens. But it's not like Demon Hunters, apparently. We just get them, huh? Cool. So, it's kind of interesting. Compared to a lot of the other ones, some people just get, like, random bonuses that are, like, a 1.5-minute cooldown and does some damage and, you know, maybe limited interaction. But this one actually doubles the effects of all the other traits on the artifact weapon, which I thought was really interesting. And obviously just gives you a 10% damage increase across the board. Going back, actually, and one other thing that I should have mentioned probably is Unstable Affliction actually does snapshot. Most of the other, actually none of the other dots do. But like I said, I think it's kind of important to think about it as like as your nuke, but it just happens over 8 seconds. So if you obviously you want to like reap souls probably before you dump all your UAs, but there could be an argument, which we'll get to, that you don't do that. And I think there's been some discussion amongst the Affliction community, so I'm actually kind of been reading up on that and taking part a little bit. But anyway, going through Crystalline Shadows increases your shadow damage by 2%. Seeds of the Doom increases damage dealt when Seed of Corruption explodes by 15%. Ooh. Initiable Agony increases damage done by Agony by 12%. Inherently Unstable increases the critical strike chance of Unstable Affliction by 6%. Cool. Slightly devalues crit, I would say, but not by a lot. Not enough to probably matter. Drain to a Husk increases damage dealt by Drain Life by 6%. Again, your filler, so I'm using that a fair amount. Or possibly Drain Soul. I assume that carries over to Drain Soul. Shadows of the Flesh increases the amount absorbed by Soul Leech by 3%. Again, it's a passive you have. You know, you and your pet get to shield up and heal and absorb. Also, Fatal Echoes. When Unstable Affliction expires, it has a 6% chance to reapply itself. Also, an interesting little trait that is so small that it's hard to play around, but it's interesting. It's good. Nothing wrong with it, I guess. Sweet Souls. Your health stones heal you for an additional 50% of your maximum health. Any party or raid members using a health stone also heals you for the amount they healed. It's good, right? I mean, who doesn't want more healing from their health stones in raid? And every time someone pops a health stone, you get healing too. Like, all the friggin' warlocks are gonna be wanting you to pop health stones. You're never gonna be allowed to use a health potion ever again. Perdition increases critical strike damage dealt by Agony, Corruption, Drain Life, and Unstable Affliction by 10%. So that actually increases the value of crit based on that. Because, God, okay, just stop it. Just stop. You're annoying. Because obviously crit damage synergizes with crit chance. Who doesn't want that? Hideous Corruption increases the damage dealt by corruption by 12%. Shadowy Incantations increases shadow damage you deal by 3%. Increases shadow damage by 2%. Increases shadow damage you deal by 3%. Okay, so this doesn't affect your pets. Or this doesn't affect your pets. This does, I guess. Long dark night of the soul, not day night. Increases healing you receive from drain life by 30%. Your drain life is massively empowered, dealing 200% increased damage, but not. Oh, right. So it still does heal you, but not by triple, essentially. Not for triple, rather. And then the last non-golden dragon is Compound Interest, which I think is probably better than your golden dragons, keystones, whatever people are calling them. It's each time Agony and Corruption deal damage, they have a 10% chance to increase damage dealt by your next unstable affliction by 15%. Now this actually stacks up to 5 times, which again it doesn't say, which would be really nice if they just would actually tell you these things. So here's where it gets complicated for me, right? So you're dotting along here. You're doing well. Things are going lovely. You start getting your compound interest. And I need to do more here. And it's only just pretty short. There it is. The refreshes. It's what, like a 9-second, maybe 10-second. Oh, and now we got him. Boom. Watch how much damage this thing does. Pretty good compared to what it was before. I mean, yeah, looking at 115k. I don't know if you saw before what they were hitting for. They were like a lot less. Maybe 40k, 50k when I had a couple up there when they were like rolling like Ignite does. So that is the big argument for not just dumping soul shards on UA whenever, not just like rolling it like you would Ignite or something. And so, I mean, basically only UA whenever you have a 5-stack of Compound Interest. I always forget, that's kind of a complicated way to get into there. So you have a 5-stack of Compound Interest. You are gonna cap on your soul shards, so as soon as you get your 5, you're gonna dump 1 off. Or if your Compound Interest is probably at like 2 seconds and doesn't refresh, because the last thing you want is like to be at a 3 or 4 stack and then lose your stacks. So you may as well dump it. Probably at 2 seconds, because your cast time is gonna be, I mean, right now mine's 1.39 because it's affected by haste. And you don't want to lose those, so you're definitely going to have some weak aura managing to do. Tracking soul shards, tracking your compound interest. Now, the one question is, for me still, and no one seemed to perfectly answer it, is Reap Souls. So, of course, Reap Souls gives you the 10% increased damage across the board. And the duration's affected. You get 5 extra seconds of the duration based on Tormented Souls that you absorb. But it also, again, doubles the effectiveness of every other trait. So your Agony and your Corruption. Here, let me cast it. I'll show you. Oops, wait. Right, it doesn't have any souls. I need souls to cast, of course. Okay, so I got a soul. So I'll cast it. Woo. Now you see it's been increased to 20% chance. So, and it lasted like no time at all. So some of the questions are, do you cast Reap Souls early so that you have an even higher chance to get your compound interest rolling? Or do you cast it so you can basically increase the window, your UI damage, so it's hitting like a truck? Because 5-stack UA is a lot of damage, 75% damage. 5 times 5, 75%, yeah. And the more you can get rolling, the more it's gonna be awesome. So yeah, I mean, when you under your Reap Souls effect, you're gonna have double effectiveness on all of these. Pretty yummy. The actual damage that's increased of Unstable Affliction is not doubled, however. It's just the chance for Agony and Corruption to deal the damage. Now, for my very limited testing prior to this, it seems like your soul shard generation isn't very good on one target. You figure this is what you have up there. And we got a soul shard, cool. It's gonna make me into a liar. It's gonna make me into a big old fat liar. I'm just dumping these because why not? I'm not trying to be optimal here, but okay. So it actually doesn't seem that bad, but from other people's testing, it's not very good. You find yourself just waiting for soul shards to come back in a lot of ways. I'm curious how this will play out. Let's see what kind of compound interest stacking we get going here. Not bad, not bad. Should have probably picked up a different talent to help maximize this here. Oh, it reset. Ooh, okay. So that's my one problem with it, though, overall, is single target. Soul shard generation is pretty lackluster. I don't know if I'm just getting mad lucky, but prior to this, it wasn't exactly pretty. I didn't go over golden dragons either, so that's fun. That's how lame I think that compound interest or the other gold dragons are compared to compound interest for the most part. So I'll read them and then I'll explain why they're not quite as bad as they seem. First one is Soul Flame. When you kill a target, its soul bursts into flames, dealing shadow flame damage to all nearby enemies. Okay. Seems kind of lame. You know, in raiding, you're not killing that many things. It's like Victory Rush, right? Like warriors aren't like, "Ooh, I can't wait to kill all these things so I can Victory Rush a bunch." When you're fighting like one giant ass dude just punching the hell out of you, you don't care. Wrath of Consumption. After you kill a target, your damage over time effects deal 2% increased damage for the next 20 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. So this is also pretty dope, but that whole after you kill a target thing, not so wonderful. But the cool thing about these is that the new way that Blizzard is doing the whole after you kill when you kill a target thing is as long as you have dealt damage to them within 2 seconds of their death, it counts. It'll trigger its effect. So you don't have to worry about being a killing blow. So that's always kind of nice. So I'm wondering, because I was overkilling these, does it do it? It doesn't do it. Unless that's what that was. Let's see, was that Touch of Harvester of Souls, Touch of the Grave? I mean, this is Harvester of Souls. I know that, but I wasn't sure what Touch of the Grave is. Is that? Am I just a derp? Big old derp. Okay. So anyway, the third one's Harvester of Souls. Each time corruption deals damage, it has a 15% chance to deal shadow damage to a target and heal you for 100% of the damage damage dealt. Pretty cool. Completely uncontrollable. It's a bonus for when you have corruption up, which you're always gonna have corruption up. So you know, it's nice. No complaints. Some extra healing, I suppose, which you already kind of do a lot of. You do life tap a lot more actually. So it's nice to have the extra healing, but I don't think it's nothing that's rotation changing, right? The most rotation changing thing in here isn't even a gold dragon. It's by far compound interest. That is pretty much undisputed by everyone. The AoE, the things about these two gold dragons, both Soul Flame and Wrath of Consumption, is it's not, man, like Affliction is now amazing at AoE necessarily. I think it's more to let them be decent at it, right? Because Soul Flame, when you kill something, it's gonna blow up and burn to death. Things around it. And then I don't know why I closed it. Maybe we'll do some testing on it, like go pull a bunch of things. I think there's some stuff out in Ghostlands that I can pull really easily. And Wrath of Consumption, same thing, right? When you kill something, it's going to increase your dots for 20 seconds, and stacks up to 5 times. So you're going to get 10%. You can get up to 10% killing ads. So like ad phases are going to be awesome for you, right? You're going to be blowing the hell out of them with Soul Flame. Wrath of Consumption is going to increase your dots. So those little ads that are spawning on boss fights are going to help increase your main target damage, I guess, on that. So it's cool. It's adding to that. I don't think it's either one of these you're going to really care about that much, though, to be honest. I think, honestly, you're going to come out, you're going to go Reaper Souls, going to Crystalline Shadows, Point and Seeds of Doom, and Compound Interest is going to be the first thing you want. And then, I guess, Harvester of Souls. I guess it depends, right? This is only going to be doing a 15% chance at about, 15k damage. This is gonna explode for over double of that, but AoE not that important. Wrath of Consumption might honestly be your first golden dragon you go for. Maybe, probably not. I don't know. I'm not Captain Pro, man, but these just don't seem that good. I think they're gonna keep you alive in AoE. That's what they're gonna do on the damage meters. So there's that. Anyway, talents. So like I said, last time I looked into this spec, there was a lot of weird stuff. First and foremost, like I was saying, was Soul Leech. That used to be a talent, and it used to allow this to happen. Now it's changed, and they've put Demon Skin up there, and this tree is kind of interesting in some ways. Like, interesting in that I'm not sure why Blizzard did it, but Demon Soul basically allows your Soul Leech absorption to passively charge at a rate of 1% maximum health every 1 second, and now may absorb up to 20% health from the 15% health that it normally was. Hey man, awesome. A little more shield. That's probably what you're going to take. You're going to take this talent, and you're never going to change it unless you PvP, because the other options are Mortal Coil, horrifies an enemy target into fleeing, incapacitating them for 3 seconds, and healing you for 11% of the maximum health. 20-yard range, 45-second cooldown. Not affected by haste. Fine for PvP. Great. Love it. Wonderful. Never going to use that in a raid ever. Why ever? Hollow Terror, 40-second cooldown. Again, not affected by haste. Maybe? Question mark. Let loose Terrifying Howl, causing 5 enemies within 10 yards to flee in fear, disorienting them for 20 seconds. Damage may cancel the effect. Cool. Awesome. AoE Fear. Again, just such the smallest, niche in a raid that you'd never want. So Demon Skin's probably going to be going. Personal cooldown, personal defensive, that's going to help you stay alive. You're not going to notice it. Healers might if they love you. I don't know. Another change I saw was Drain Soul. Used to heal you for a lot less. Now it's based on the damage you deal rather than a percent of max health. Am I wrong about that? I'm making sure. Yeah. So drain target soul, causing 215,000 damage over 5.5 seconds and healing you for 130% of the damage dealt. So, of course, if something dies, you get a soul shard out of it. Just like back in vanilla, just like forever. So this is dealing 215,000 over 5.5 seconds. This is doing 107,000 over 5.5 seconds. So it's dealing twice the damage and healing for half as much. So it's healing for the exact same amount. It's just a straight upgrade to Drain Life. Slightly more soul shard generation if you're looking to smack something that's about to die with Drain Soul, I guess. Seems to make sense. But they fixed that. Honestly, most of the Warlock complaints, especially Affliction side, maybe, I think, Blizzard has tended to. Everyone, you go to every class forum and someone's complaining about something, so it's not sunshine and butterflies for everybody. Absolute Corruption got 25% increased damage. Just probably talk about. We'll get there. So anyway, first talent here is Haunt. A little bit of mana. It's a 1.5 second cast affected by haste. 40-yard range. 15-second cooldown. It is just basically a big shadow bolt. Deals shadow damage. If the target dies within 15 seconds, you get the cooldown back. It's a nice cooldown, honestly. It's there for burst. If you need that burst damage, it's cool. It's no longer affects your dots. It no longer It's a lot of things. There it is. Boom. That's all. If it dies within 15 seconds, you're going to get the cooldown back. There it goes. Yay. Cool. Rather than Agony, Agony's damage may now ramp up twice as high. So I believe that means it's going to... That stack is going to happen twice as fast because it's still going to... Yeah, see, okay, yeah. Ooh. Just kidding. It's not going to go twice as fast. But the increase in damage is going to be twice as much. It looks like. So, cool. That's nice. Seems good for multi-dotting, especially. Haunt kind of seems to be your on-demand burst when you need it. That's that. Drain Soul is going to be like probably like everything else, right? It's going to replace Drain Life. Ooh. So pretty. It's gonna be, you know, it's there. It's good. I would say, like I said, multi-dot, council type fights, on-demand burst, everything else. So second tier, like I was saying, Absolute Corruption did get a 25% boost added, or damage increase added to it for your Corruption. This is basically your no skill. I never want to cast Corruption again. Corruption lasts forever on a target. Saves you some GCDs over the course of a fight. Corruption does more damage. Rather than Agony doesn't actually increase the duration, but yeah, I think you're right. Like, I mean, they definitely have to live for at least the duration of Wrath and Agony, or the duration of Agony. So that makes sense. Like a council fight or something, I think I'd be really good for. Yep. Again, Corruption is now permanent. Duration reduced to 60 seconds on players. You can only keep Corruption up on for a minute on people now. Again, saves GCDs. I think Contagion is very similar. Unstable Affliction also increases all damage you deal to the talent or to the target. Can you refresh it so it stacks don't reset? I mean, I know you can pandemic it. So you're a genius. Of course you can. So yeah, obviously you're gonna wait till it's like in the lower third. And then you can keep it up. So yeah, that's, I mean, you'll obviously never want that to fall down, especially running it rather than Agony. It's also your soul shard generator, so you gonna keep Agony up forever and ever. If you let it fall, you're just bad, right? Okay. Hooray. Fun times. Do you hear that right now? I think my neighbors are moving. And they're just like banging on things. Anyway, Contagion. Unstable Affliction also increases all damage you deal to the target by 15%. I don't know how Contagion's gonna be used completely, because obviously Unstable Affliction's great, right? Contagion's the reason you don't want to just dump them all forever, because you're not going to be able to maintain Unstable Affliction on a target forever. Until you do. Jesus. Oh, Soul Conduit. Maybe is that... Oh, is that why I'm doing so well on that? Because that's probably why I'm doing so well with the whole Soul Shard generation, because I keep getting refunded. Don't mind me. Just, you know. Why can't I use that here? You can't. Am I a derp? Can you?
I'm out of range.
You can. Okay. I don't want to use that. I don't want to use that here anyway. There's not like some kind of silly restriction too, right? Okay, cool. Maybe I'm dumb, or maybe that's a bug. So for the duration of your unstable affliction, increase damage dealt to the target by 15%. Obviously very good. Probably considerably better than absolute corruption. But UA also only lasts for 8 seconds. So you gotta keep them rolling. Because you figure it's not going to affect itself, right? At least I don't assume it's not going to affect itself. Do I have the talent picked? Okay. So right, so you can see that it affected the second one though. So because UA was up when I applied it, it does affect the second UA that goes up, but it doesn't apply it to itself. Because again, it's snapshots. So I think Contagion has its place. I don't know. It's all damage. No. Yeah, it is all damage, but UA does not. All damage you deal, not all damage to it. But so yeah, I mean, all your other dots will tick higher. But it also kind of anti-synergizes, I feel like, with the idea of compound interest, where you're wanting to like not keep UA throwing out. You're wanting to wait for those compound interest stacks, which is just gonna be more damage. Like a 75% increase to your UA, your biggest spell, is gonna be more damage than an 8-second duration, 15% increase on your little piddly dots. I don't know that 100%, but people who are smarter and have more paper than I have done that math. I think. What the hell was that? That was Wrath of Consumption, and it has a cool effect. Too bad all my windows up. That's pretty effective. Okay. Also in this tier is Mana Tap. Consumes 40% of your current mana to grant 10% increased damage for 20 seconds. This is a talent that I would probably be taking. Do dots still tick faster based on haste? Yeah. Well, no. Yes and no. They still last for the exact same amount of time, but you get an extra like tick at the end. So if you have enough haste, you'll get a full tick. If you have a little bit of haste, you'll get a partial tick. Let me double check to make sure I'm not talking out of my ass. Did I pick the longest duration dot I have? Probably. No, I didn't. I picked the shortest for the most part. So yeah, crit, and then yep, there it is. So like that, because of my haste, I did like a half a tick basically. So it still lasts the same amount of duration, but you get more ticks in that window. So Mana Tap though consumes 40% of your current mana, grants you 10% increased damage for 20 seconds. I think this is going to synergize with your UA. It's going to be really good. The question is, can you keep enough mana? Again, you have Life Tap though, so I don't see why you wouldn't. Restores 30% of your maximum mana at the cost of 10% of your maximum health. Also, to point out, this restores 30% of your max mana. Mana Tap consumes 40% of your current mana. So I mean, you can Mana Tap for like days, right? Like, it doesn't even matter. No, Innervate requires healer. You have to be tagged as a healer for it to work. So you can just the mana. I don't know if I like Mana Tap working like this. I mean, you just never. I mean, of course, like you're not gonna be able to afford your other spells, but you can't not afford Mana Tap. But still, 20 seconds. Oh, and also, it also has a pandemic effect, so you can actually get it longer if you double it. That's cool. So yeah, I don't think the trade-off is very high for that. Maybe it should be for your max mana. That way you're actually paying for that. Otherwise it seems really good. And I don't think you would ever take the other two. You would just take Mana Tap. Could be wrong. The ones don't make sense. Unless you're like dotting up a shitload of things that just have a ton of health. Like maybe then Absolute Corruption saves enough GCDs to make it worth it. I doubt it. We talked about this tier. Pretty lame. It rewards micromanagement of your mana. Yeah, but it doesn't though, right? Because you're not oh, like it's not, you're not micromanaging your mana. You're just consuming 40% of your current, which is nothing. Like you can always afford that. Like every 20 seconds, 40% of your mana, no problem. I feel like it should be more, or they should do something to make it mean more, I guess. Yeah, absolutely. But then you just life tap, and then you have full mana again, because you get 30% of your current, or 30% of your max back. Well, I mean, I think those, you wouldn't have 10k, max mana or something. Like, I mean, here, just watch. Like, watch mana tapping. Remember, you only need a mana tap once every 20 seconds. But I'm gonna spam it. I've hit it 4 or 5 times now, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, 9 times. Like, you can still afford like all of your spells down there. U8 costs soul shards, no mana. Yeah, but you can also just. Oh, also because Soul Leech, your first 2 life taps are free. So back to fax mana. Like, yeah, I mean you're gonna spend maybe a couple more GCDs with life tap, but that 10% damage increase with the UA, with 5 stacks of compound interest, I think it's gonna be a lot. And it's gonna be worth it. I just don't think there's enough opportunity cost, I guess. That's not like thunder. That's like my neighbors just like slamming their bodies on doors and things. It's less GCDs. Why do you say it's less GCDs? Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But you can do it at any point. There's no opportunity cost except for the GCD you're spending to do it, because as I showed you, you can always cast something. You're never gonna be like, oh man, now I'm So, do you mean live tap? Or am I missing a soul tap? No, we're like behind probably. No, they do, but I mean they cost almost nothing. Watch, like I was saying. Watch here. I'm gonna. There we go. Mana tapping, mana tapping, mana tapping. Like look at them. I mean they'll darken out when they're out of mana, as you're well aware. But like, they're not gonna, I can cast this thing forever. Oh, finally I couldn't cast Seed of Corruption. Watch out. I mean, you will. I mean, yeah, you'll have to give some back and forth with life tap, but it's not. Again, life tap doesn't cost anything. There you go. My 3rd life tap finally costed something because of Soul Leech on health. So I mean, there's just no opportunity cost there for me except for the GCD spent. I wish it would cost more. If that's what they think it needs to be balanced, then it's balanced. There's no out of combat regen anymore. It's just regen is regen for mana regen now. I mean, health regen I think might be different, maybe, but I believe that was one of the changes in Legion, that there's no such thing as like out of combat in combat. Yep. So moving on, Siphon Life is kind of cool. Actually, we'll start with Soul the Seeds. Seed of Corruption will now consume a Soul Shard if available to embed a Demon Seed in 4 additional nearby enemies. Obviously, the AoE talent. Seems like mana cost for other spells should be higher than. Yeah, maybe. You might be right about that. Oh, you know what it is? It is, I think it's Drain Life. Drain Soul. That's the what costs so much. Let me double check that. Here we go. Right, so. Even still, it's not really that much. I'm still gaining mana more than I'm spending. But yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I like. Whatever change it was, so that your mana consumption actually meant something, I'd be cool with. It's you know, I guess if you're like, it's like 50k, 33k a second, you know, it's just nothing. So, you know, it is what it is, I guess. So the Seeds is your obvious AoE talent. Whenever you're going to be blasting Seed of Corruption, you want lots of Seeds of Corruption. There it is. Siphon Life's a new dot.
Hey, wake up.
Might be more PvP oriented. So, just take a moment here. I'm doing this entire whole thing for a certain somebody. He decides to log into TeamSpeak and poke me. For what reason? I don't know. Shall we see? Move. No, I'm not moving. Come watch my stream, bro. Come talking Twitch chat. Let's have a chat. Someone tell Boomkin to come in here. All right. So anyway, Siphon Life. Siphons a target's life as in stealing some damage over 15 seconds. It doesn't say what kind of damage. That's strange. Isn't that strange? Everything says shadow damage. Shadow damage. Shadow damage. Shadow damage. Siphon Life. Dealing damage. Weird. Over 15 seconds and healing you for 100% of the damage it deals. Probably PvP talent. Maybe if you're multi-dotting a lot. But I much prefer Soul Harvest. Increases the damage you deal by 20%. 2-minute cooldown. Last 10 seconds. Increased by 2 seconds for each target afflicted by your agony. Up to a maximum of 30 seconds. So if you're multi-dotting, you're getting a longer Soul Harvest. So I don't know when Siphon Life really comes into play. Maybe on console fights? Council fights? Maybe? Are you making this a VOD or uploading to Huges? Yeah, probably both, and then I'll put it on the website as well. That way people can watch my shenanigans. And I'll probably do this for a bunch of specs. That way going into beta, pre-patch shit, they have an okay idea. That way they can listen to my beautiful voice. I might cut it on stupid places like this. So, Soul Harvest used to give you 5 soul shards on activation. Not anymore. Obviously, it just gives you a 20% damage increase, lasting up to 30 seconds. So, pretty good. Why are you upset? Sad. I mean, I'm not going to, like, cut you out of it. So, anyway, I don't know when you take Siphon Life. It doesn't seem very strong. Like, you're looking at 80.5k over 15 seconds with my current gear. I mean, it's doing less than Corruption over a slightly longer time. The hugest part is the best part. Of course it is. Of course it is. Bosco's mic's still broken. That's sad. So, PvP talent. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know. Or you need a lot of healing. Here's the part that the Warlocks are most salty about. Demonic Circle, now a talent. Real sad times. Half-second cast affected by haste. Summons Demonic Circle for 6 minutes, allowing you to telecast. If you cast it again, you can teleport to the circle. Woo! Removes movement slowing effects. So, you know, it's the same old song and dance here. Just, woo! Let's go fight. Let's go. Woo! Warlocks, come get me. Warlocks. And then, boom. See ya. Yep, you guys know. Bring Rush increases movement speed by 50%, but also damages you for 5% of your maximum health every 1 second. You can't... Nothing can slow you below 100%. Lasts until canceled, so, you know, you can move fast. At the cost of life, Soul Leech will help with that. See? Absorb. Jeez, I mean, you can, like... Okay, like, you can get, like, a lot of free movement speed out of that. So that's kind of cool. I mean, it's not free, I guess. You are eating up your shield, but who cares? Dark Pack, you're sacrificing 20% of your demon's current health to shield you for 400% of the sacrificed health for 20 seconds. If you have no demons, use your own health instead. So if you sack the demon, usable while you're CC'd. Pretty cool. Don't worry about our own rogues. Yeah, well, you know, probably not. Well, rogues only get... rogues... I don't think rogues get burst speed at all anymore, right? Like, at all. Like, I don't think it's PvP or anything. I think it's gone. But anyway, Dark Pact, cool. I would probably most likely take that in raid. 1 minute cooldown, ass ton of shielding. Maybe not an ass ton, but quite a bit. You figure. I mean, my pet now is over 500,000. Ah, okay, that makes sense. So 500,000. You're getting 20% of 500,000, which is 100,000. So you're getting 100k. You're getting a 500k shield. That's pretty good. That's like a third of your health. If that, assuming things scale well, like scale similarly, you're looking at probably something around a third of your health with Dark Pact. Pretty good. I think my math's right on that. The Grimoire talents. Okay, so Grimoire Supremacy. You're able to maintain control over even the greater demons indefinitely, allowing you to summon Doomguard and Infernal as a permanent pet. I don't think Affliction's gonna be using this. I mean, they're cool. They might even be used in like questing or something. Hey, asshole, hit that shit. Hit it. I don't know why I did this to myself. This is just gonna be just horror. Just get me out of here. Wake me up. Eventually, that should be 20% of 9 quadrillion. Yes. In Miss Pandaria 2, The Return of Jafar. So yeah, you get your Infernal and you get your Doomguard permanently. Cool. Questing, probably not raiding, right? Grimoire of Service summons a second demon, which fights for you for 25 seconds and deals 100% increased damage. 1.5 minute cooldown. Demon will immediately use one of its special abilities. I think you use Fell Hunter, right? I don't know what you use as Affliction. I just don't know. Is it Imp? Imps do damage. Do they do the most damage? I don't know. So that's what they do. Again, don't think you're gonna be using it. Probably more Demonology. Doesn't seem that good. I'd be kind of shocked. But Grimoire of Sacrifice. Well, I guess you probably would use one of these, right? Because Grimoire of Sacrifice is going to be your AoE, which I think is interesting. Let me take it real quick. So sacrifices your demon to gain a demonic power, causing your spells to sometimes also deal shadow damage to the target and other enemies within 8 yards. Lasts an hour or until you summon a demon. So, yeah, you did. Right. But the thing about Legion is I think that you're not going to be using it always. I mean, I think you're only going to be looking to sack when you have AoE. I could be wrong. Boom. Sacked, right? Also, Wrath of Consumption. Okay, that's kind of cool. Wrath of Consumption actually procs off of Sacrifice. Did not know that. That's pretty cool. Because you killed it, so, your effects get 2% increased damage for, next 20 seconds. Stacking up to 5 times. Nifty. So, yeah. Sometimes you're going to deal damage to it. Right. Yeah, your pets will have to damage it. Why did I just get a Surge of Dominance? Just set what that looks like, I guess.
I need a target.
So I guess that's what that little pulse is. It seems to be doing demonic power. 26.2k. So now I'm curious. A little impy man. Get your butt out here. Oops. Right. Actually counts. Actually, gotta cast that. Alright. Attack it. Attack it. Go. Oh, right. I can't see pet damage because I'm bad. Is that like a setting? Is there a thing? I guess I can just look and see what it shows, huh? So 19. Is that 1.5 seconds? 2 seconds? That's kind of cool. There's probably a setting somewhere that I can turn that on. Yeah, he's hitting for 19k. But I think it's more. I think it's more reliable. I don't know. It's procking. It's seems like been a lot more than that Imp's hitting for, I guess. I'm trying to think of any synergies that maybe I use Fell Hunter. Let's check him out too. Get him, big boy. Oh, he's hitting for less. Well, more often though. Yeah. It's probably pretty close to the same amount of DPS. Why don't you just keep him sacked? Maybe. Well, what's the imp's whatchamajigger again? Command demon. Oh, that's not it. We don't want that. Let's cauterize. Yeah, maybe do just sack. Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, level 100. Woo! So, yeah, that's true. The scaling could be totally different, so that could be why. Soul Conduit is the talent that every spec has. Every soul shard you spend has a 20% chance to be refunded. I think that's why I was having decent efficiency, which totally goes against my point of, hey, Affliction doesn't use / get back enough soul shards to make it worth it. When in reality, it probably isn't that bad. I didn't seem to be starved, but I don't think that's the issue necessarily, especially when you see what the other ones are. So kind of everybody has. I think it's half decent for Demonology, because Demonology is like soul shard, and they get them all back, and they do all kinds of crazy stuff with them. So it's there. I don't think it's gonna be your go-to. It's a great passive. I'll probably use it to level with. Yay. 5-man dungeons that aren't more than heroic. Good job. Phantom Singularity is a 1-minute cooldown, 40-yard range, and it places a Phantom Singularity above the target, which consumes the life of all enemies within 25 yards, dealing shadow damage. Oh, see, that one's only damage also. We gotta talk about this, Blizz. I don't know what that's about. Over 15 seconds, affected by haste, apparently. Healing you for 30% of the damage done. So that is probably going to be your big ol' AoE guy. Watch, look at this. Cool Cloud. Boom, it's hitting like everything. Killed that rat over there even. Pretty nifty. You know. It's okay. Attack consumption. When you kill things, it's going to do better. It's going to be cool. I mean, these are fine that these exist. But I don't like that they're just like chilling here. I feel like I gotta pick them up. Yeah, the AoE is huge. 25 yards. Like, it's so big. Like, you figure Seed of Corruption only jumps, what, 10 yards, right? And this is like 2.5 times that size. Just giant. I feel like a decent amount of classes actually have big AoE in Legion. And it's a 1 minute, yeah, no kidding. Last one's Soul Effigy. I think this is going to be your set and forget. Single target, maybe AoE. Quick cast, 1.5 seconds, affected by haste. 40-yard range. It's weird, though. So, yeah. Create the Soul Effigy bound to the target, which is attackable only by you. So now you're like, oh, this kind of sounds like Prismatic Crystal, right? Well, 50% of the damage taken by the effigy is duplicated on the original target. Limit 1, last 10 minutes. Cool. So let me show you how this works, though. So let's say, me and my hunter buddies are chilling here, and we got Castilia back here DPSing, the invisible ad. We are fighting, and I decide I'm gonna soul effigy the boss, right? I got my dots up on him. Here we come, solo effigy, right? What? Why? This comes over here. Why does it gotta come over here for? So, it comes over here, is the moral of the story. So 50% of the damage it takes is gonna go pew pew, pew pew, floating back over there. Cool thing about this is you're getting your double agonies up on a single target fight, where you're basically doubling your chance of getting your soul shards. You're doubling your chance of getting your compound interest, which is hitting, by the way. One thing is, though, you'll never want to UA your effigy because it's a 50% reduced damage. And there's no such thing as wasting damage on your main target in terms of UA. So you'll always just keep your dots up. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, I got it. Keep your dots up. Obviously, Weak Course is your best friend. And then you'll just be like, okay, come on now. Yeah. I feel like you're probably really likely to get your 5 stacks. I don't have any. What? I don't have any. Did I already use it? No, so you're probably really likely to get your shiz. Okay, there we go. Torment. Throw out my stable affliction. Boom. Yay. Damages. So that's how it works. The weird thing, though, is... Oh, it might not do it anymore. So one of the older builds had it, like, AoE, like the thick stuff around it. I don't know. I have to see. But, I guess it doesn't anymore. Or let's look at the combat. Hold on. Corruption. Self-G. Okay, so yeah, it is just transferring half. Cool. Okay, so there's no more. Because it used to do. I think it used to do 25%, and then also used to like splash whenever it took damage or something. Is that a? Am I making this up? Target and heal for. Okay, maybe not. It's okay. But yeah, so this is soul effigy. It's fine. It works well. It doubles your soul shard generation. It doubles your compound interest, which seems like is what you want because that's by far the best trait on here. On this damn thing. It's not ultra interesting though for level 100 talent. Yeah, that's true. Can you multi-dot with it? What do you mean exactly? When you cast it originally, you have to have a target. So, for example, if I'm like, I targeted that guy still, and I'm throwing dots up here, like it's not gonna love me. It's still gonna apply dots to that thing. When I actually dot it up, probably, huh? It's still gonna. Yeah, that's exactly the concept, right? Like you basically get a second target to apply things to. So you've got 2 stacks of. You have 2 agonies ticking, so you have a chance to get soul shards back. You're getting, more compound interest. I think you're pretty much guaranteed to get your 5 stacks of compound interest up. I think like it's hard to say soul effigy's bad, man. Yeah, it only does half damage, right? But and that's why you'll never unstable affliction on that because you don't want half damage. Yeah, it does do only half, but that seems okay. Reap souls is very, like, not satisfying to push, partially because it's just like you can keep casting as long as you got 12-minute souls up. Can't double dip from UA. What do you mean exactly? I don't know if you want to stack your unstables though. I think you want to wait, and I don't think stacking your unstables is good. Yeah, it gets, yeah. I'm not arguing that, but you want to wait for compound interest to come up because you will want a 75% increased damage UA. You want 5 stacks of that before you go throwing it out. There's no benefit from throwing UA out like a crazy man. Like right now, I wouldn't want to just dump UA like I just did, for comparison's sakes. Like, so you're looking at doing, 29.6k, where if we get stacks going, good procs on main target, but the UA on the effigy. Why would you use it? No, you would never UA effigy. See, now we're looking at, let's say Affliction doing 45k, and there's no damage lost there. Thanks. By what is it, 15? What is what, 15? Oh no, it doesn't increase the, no, it's the, you're talking about, are you talking about contagion? You're ruining my lighting. She's ruining my lighting. Yeah, if you're on contagion, yes, you would get 15% increased damage. But why wouldn't you just? I mean, your uptime on UA isn't going to be 100%. No, because you run mana tap. I don't think you'd Siphon Life on it either. Oh, I see what you're saying. You'd if you were running Siphon Life. I think I would run Soul Harvest though. Let me actually put on my bars what I'm going to use and not suck. So you're gonna be running boom, boom. I don't know why I did it like that, but right. So you're getting your 20% damage increase. You're getting your 10% damage increase. You're getting your 10% damage increase from Reap Souls. And then you're UAing like a boss when you get 5 stacks. I didn't do it right, but that's how you do it. It would be though if you use it with your effigy, right? What do you? No, why would it be? Your effigy isn't dealing the damage as far as I'm aware. You are still dealing that damage. Your soul effigy. Oh, well, it's considered a pet, I guess, then. Because if you're using mana tap, you're still doing increased damage to the soul effigy. So it's still dealing increased damage to the target. And I can keep my mana tap buff up at all times. Yeah, he's saying you would use, I think he's arguing that you'd use Contagion and keep your UA debuff on the target. That way the damage that comes off the soul effigy and your dots do increase damage. But you're missing out on so much damage by trying to keep your UA debuff up rather than run compound interest and to the 5 stacks. I don't know how delayed this is. My on-screen chat to my... You get double procs on compound anyway. Yeah. UA on main target is 100% every time, even if you cast 3 in a row. Yes. But you wouldn't want to cast 3 in a row, just saying. Unless you're like somehow capping on soul shards like a crazy person. The 15% could be up more. Up more than a 100% uptime, 10%. And again, though, it's not. I'm not disagreeing that Contagin's good. I'm just disagreeing that it's better than Mana Tap, because again, Contagion doesn't apply to the UA that applies it, only the following UAs, which again, then you're missing out on compound interest. Yeah. Sort of. No, you'd need more. I mean, I don't know how much more. The math is hard because again, you're not getting that bonus damage on the UA that you're using to apply it. Damage cooldowns to cast 5 UAs in a row. If you need the burst, yes. But you figure your damage cooldown. Well, yeah, I mean, Soul Harvest is definitely your cooldown. Mana Tap, you're keeping up at all times. Reap Souls, you're keeping up probably close to like 100%. I don't know exactly what the collection rate is of these Tormented Souls, but I mean, maybe it's more like 50%. I'm kind of blowing that on my ass, though, honestly. I'm sure there is based on the like spawn point chance, and I'm sure there's an optimal amount to blow it on. Yeah, you never hold 5. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's true. I just feel like the only, and I know I've been like harping on it, the only interesting thing about Affliction is compound interest. Otherwise, it's just like the most boring, like throw up dots, drain soul. You know, I don't know. No cares. You wanna throw up drain soul on like targets that are about to die, so things explode. But otherwise, the relics might change that. What would the relics change about it though? How much damage does Half in Life do over 2 minutes? Looking at what 320k in a minute, so 640k right now ish. I see what you're saying. Well, Soul Harvest, if you're using it properly, I guess. Now you're talking, let's say single target, because that's essentially what we're looking at. You're looking at 2 targets then, so your effigy and the main target having agony on it. So you're looking at 14 seconds of increased damage. Hey, that's a mather right there. 14 seconds. If you're well, that's the thing though, right? If you're using it in a window, you figure you're going to be getting 7 ticks of corruption, 7 ticks of agony, at increased. You kill me. You kill me. Okay, so 20% is 28k times 7 is 35. I think you're going to come out ahead with Soul Harvest plus health back. What you mean plus health back? I don't know if you're going to call that. I don't know if you're going to call that, like, worthy, I guess. But I see what you're saying. I think just, like, in traditional WoW ways, you're going to get the optimal damage by stacking those little damage buffs and then blowing your load, like, during that window. Especially if you get trinkets and all that crap. Yeah, absolutely. I think there are going to be boss fights. I hope there's some boss fights where it's useful, but that's what it is. I think Affliction is a very straightforward spec. I don't think there's any like huge bells and whistles. I think you're going to be watching your weak auras. I think you're going to be stacking your little damage buffs and blowing things up like that. I think that people are going to want to not properly use compound interest, and that's scary. I think people might look at Contagion and say, okay, I'm going to keep UA up as often as possible, and I think they're going to be losing a lot of damage. That's kind of a noob trap. Oh, what is compound interest again? I forgot. Each time your Agony and your Corruption deal damage, they have a 10% chance to increase damage dealt by your next unstable affliction by 15%. And that stacks 5 times. So you're getting and if you reap souls, they have a 20%. So you figure with your soul effigy, that's 2 targets at all times minimum. So you're looking at a 75% increased damage on UA. And as long as you're not like capping on soul shards or running out of soul shards or letting these buffs fall off, if you're UAing every 5 stacks, it's huge damage. And you don't get any benefit. You don't get any like innate benefit from doing the ignite roll. They're just there, right? You don't waste damage. It's just all equal. So I think that's going to be the fun management part of Affliction. And I'm actually a little disappointed. I mean, of course you got your Drain Life, Drain Soul as your filler. Whenever you're not refreshing crazy amounts of dots and casting UA and things. So yeah, that's it. I don't think there's that much more to it. What else is there? I mean, there's kill. There's make sure you're tagging ads so they explode and they give you dot damage, which Wrath of Consumption's cool visual effect. If you can get a UA up there or whatever in that window, I think there's gonna be some gaming to some boss fights where, you want to see the corruption, a bunch of little ads, and then you'll have full stacks of Wrath of Consumption, and then you can put up even bigger UAs, but that's going to be, a few and far between. Harvester Souls, again, is a random chance on Corruption to do more damage. Cool. Awesome. Great. Fine. Fatal Echoes is another one where you can't really predict it. I guess you could argue that there are some base ones out that came out a fairly long time ago that I'm sure are going to get adjusted. But wouldn't you know, I don't remember what they are. 2 seconds. This might change my window in my stream. Hold on. Maybe not. Maybe everything will be the same. Okay. Affliction bonus is 2-piece. Unstable Affliction deals 25% additional damage over time. Woo! I mean, it's great damage, right? But it's not interesting. It's a damage buff. Cool. Probably Warlocks will get closer to top priority with that, because if everything stays the same, a lot of the tier bonuses aren't that impressive. 4-piece Agony has a 1.4 times the normal chance to generate a soul shard. Interesting. So that's a 40% additional chance to increase or to generate a soul shard. That may make Soul Conduit even less useful. That's what we need. You're going to be using UA more with that. They seem really boring. I wish hopefully they make those better. A lot of the tier bonuses look very boring though, but there's time to change. So yeah, I mean, there are honor talents too, of course, but I just threw some in just to get them to stop popping up the thing. What did you say? I wish PvP talent Rot and Decay could be used. I'll find it. Don't you worry. Ah, there it is. Your drain soul refreshes the duration. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be pretty nice. There's soul swap too. Woo! So yeah, soul swap's gone. It's now in, the last tier of honor talents. So you'll have to use more globals to dot more things up. But I feel like you just have less things to manage now, right? I mean, you've got Haunt. I think Haunt's kind of interesting too, I will say. Because obviously Writhe and Agony and Drain Soul just have no management whatsoever. If you got something that's going to die a lot, you can Drain Soul for those kind of things. But if you need like the burst damage, I think Haunt's kind of interesting. Maybe it's just going to be like for questing. But I think it'll have its place. You're looking at doing 135k with a 15-second cooldown. I think the general rule of thumb is that if that cooldown resets, you probably didn't need to use Haunt. I mean, maybe it's more like maybe the resets for the questing purposes, or really it's just for like incredible burst. So you're like 135k. It does deal more than a full corruption. It does almost as much of an entire agony in one GC. Well, yeah, one GCD. It's actually gonna be fairly punishing if don't clip your UA. Why do you say that? What's bad about having your UA not clip? Only if you're on Contagion, right? One of the reasons you might not want to clip your UA is when it expires, it has a 6% chance to reapply itself. First of all, my argument is you don't run Contagion. It's crap. It's not crap. It's fine. It's totally fine. I think Mana Tap might be better, though. That's all. So, yeah, Fatal Echoes. I mean, it's a 6% chance, though. Do you play around that? I mean, that kind of puts there's like a pro-cons list of, do you play Contagion or do you play Mana Tap? And like this, like Fatal Echoes puts like a small little check in the Mana Tap column. I don't know. Like on Blast Furnace or Archimon, yeah. Yeah. Blood Globule Boss. Yeah. That would be Mr. Kilrog, right? It's Kilrog, right? Here's his eye right here. Anything else? I mean, there's the crit talents. Those are slightly above completely not boring. Your Hellstone, the Hellstone thing, look, I know like people who are like, I want more damage, probably hate it, but I love that. That's just a great trait. It's so interesting. Also, I've been going for an hour and a half. Jesus. Reach Souls, again, interesting, cool. I'm probably gonna cut all of this out, now that I'm like reiterating every single thing. Reach Souls just kind of feels unsatisfying to use. Like, it doesn't, I don't know if does it even trigger a global cooldown? Like, no, it doesn't even trigger a global. So, that's, again, kind of cool, I guess, about it. You can use it, you can like macro that into UA, I guess. You could say you only, no, I don't know exactly. I don't know when exactly you're using Reap Souls. That is for smarter players to find out for me. Because like multi-dot fights, it comes up a decent amount. Single target doesn't seem to like. But the one thing that you can say for Reap Souls is it'll also increase the chance you get your compound interest. Just active 3 to get the max. Percent and doubling the effect of all other traits for 5 seconds per soul consumed. I don't know. Does it? Well, you obviously aren't going to want to use it on a 1, I assume. 5 seconds is 2 GCD. Well, 3 GCDs, I guess. Can you sneak 4 in there? I don't think you can, right? Because you have to wait. Yeah, it's just a time thing. Yeah, you don't get the value of it isn't increased. It's just the duration. So you probably, I mean, I guess it's not spinning a GCD, so you just use it during a window, right? It's a 10% damage increase. So is that because it just stacked? You can only get 5. So yeah, I mean, you'd want to use it if you're playing. Hey, I'm only going to UA when I have my 5 stacks of compound interest. You would just macro Unleash Soul or Reap Soul is probably to that, unless you're struggling to get your compound interest because it's then going to give you a 20% chance on Agony and Corruption to get stacks. Is that good? Is that worth it? Is that maybe? I don't know. So those are my thoughts. Feel free to tell me why I'm wrong and everything. And I'm going to post this on YouTube's and the website and things like that. So that's your Affliction preview. Hope it was good.